there is not a prolonged interval between the time that rooms are serviced, tracking down any room with skippers or any rooms where unmistakably the guest left the D&D sign on the door. So this is a policy to help us know if the person that has put the D&D sign really does not want to be disturbed, or if the person left the sign on by mistake. For any rooms that have not been serviced because of D&D sign on the door, the room attendant will inform the same to the order taker or the housekeeping supervisor by 2 o'clock. Is that what you do? When you see that, very good. Then by 3 o'clock, the room attendant or the housekeeping supervisor will slip a card under the door that states that due to the D&D on the door, the room attendant was unable to service the room, and should the guest require service, he or she would call to the housekeeping office. That is by 3 o'clock. Then by 5 o'clock, if still the D&D sign is on the door, the order taker will call in the room to check if the guest wants service. Should we apply this? Do you know what it means? It means that when you see the D&D sign, you will inform your supervisor first, right? Why you're not going to clean it. Then by 3 o'clock, just to be sure that the person actually puts that sign by himself intentionally, you slip a card under to notify the person that we got your message. You say we should not clean your room, and that is the reason why we have not cleaned the room. Are you getting me? Now, this policy says that by 5 o'clock, if there is no response and the D&D sign is still on the door, that you're supposed to call the room to check if the guest wants service. I hope you know that this is actually a smart way for us to escape this problem. Because when you're now calling the person by 5 o'clock, you're telling them we are closing. You understand? We have dropped card for you. You say we should not disturb. We got your message. But this 5 o'clock, we are closing. Do you understand? But I said don't implement. What did I say? Don't implement. We will still talk about it. But this is what international standard says. All right? So do you have that card that is slipped under?
No.
You don't.
By the 3 o'clock.
So, but see, that means you're not supposed to call. You're not supposed to call.
Before people, because some of them don't actually know that light is on.
So that means we are not supposed to call. Let's do this method. Let's just small shortcuts. Is that not so? Which will be signed by the supervisor, so that we're not going to start tearing paper by ourselves. It has to be signed. Please, I have 2 D&D rooms, and it's signed by the supervisor that this is the reason why we have not cleaned your room, because of the D&D sign. So you put it there. If the person sees it and says, oh, it was a mistake, and calls, please come and clean. I didn't know what I touched, and it showed D&D sign. All right? Then you can go and clean. But if the person really does not want the room to be clean, what will happen? They would ignore the paper. Then you know that the person does not want it to be cleaned. Then by 5 p.m. when you're supposed to be closing, because if you now call when you're about to close, and the person says, oh, I totally forgot, it skipped my mind, yes, you can come and clean. Then you can now hand over to the next shift. So can you see professional service? Sure you like Oyibo people? Yeah. We are tackling D&D, which is do not disturb sign. Alright? Let's see if we get more answers. Should the guest be in the room, he will be politely asked about the time that he needs the room to be cleaned. Should there be no answer, the same will be noted in the housekeeping log with a reminder to the English supervisor about the D&D rooms not cleaned for the day. While carrying out the turn-down service, if the D&D has been removed, the room attendant will do a thorough cleaning of the room, replenishing all amenities and changing the linen. If a room has been D&D for the 2nd day, then the executive housekeeper will be informed, who in turn will liaise with the front office manager to contact the guest or will make a physical check of the room. So do you think this has answers to most of our questions? The first thing is that by 3 o'clock, you're supposed to slot in a card that says this is the reason why we have not cleaned your room. Then by 5 o'clock, we're supposed to call to say we have not cleaned the room, right? Then If the guest is in the room, he will be politely asked about the time that he needs the room to be cleaned. And if there is no answer, they should just be communicated in the logbook. So you can see why I said when the person said she went, and that communication logbook would have told us if she really went there or not. Then while carrying out turn down service, you know what turn down service is? Yes, what is it?
That's where my question comes. Because we have turn down service as a policy in our housekeeping policy. Which turn down service means evening
Service, yes.
So now,
Let's see. The procedure as detailed from point 1 to 6 will be applicable to all guests with the exception of long stay guests, airline crew, or for those guests whom we know their duty hours and resting hours. So you see, there are exceptions, like the 602 lady you talked about, like the long stay guests, who is like a house to her. So at her own convenience, at her own time, we should attend to them. At the end of the morning shift, the GND rooms list will be duly filled and kept for the executive housekeeper or his designate attention. So we have the GND room lists here, and we also have the template of that card that should be slotted. So what I'm saying now is the GND means do not disturb. For cash guests, one-time guests, let's apply this and see if it works first.